It's time for the Cummins Real Estate Group show with the one and only Michele 1L Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Curtis. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How is your Saturday morning going so far, although I know it's still pretty early?
Very good, thank you. I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Well, that's always a good start. It's better than waking up on the wrong side of the floor. I've done that before.
Luckily, there's only two sides of the bed as well, so it's a 50-50 chance.
That's right. Your odds are in your favor. Have you got yourself a Christmas coffee this morning, or what's going on?
No, not a Christmas coffee this morning. But that's a good idea because this last week was the third month of Christmas.
Oh, right.
On the 25th.
So that was Thursday.
Yes, and Richard, is a Supernatural fan of the TV show.
Right.
So I put a little gift under our little tree near a fireplace, and it was has to do with the show, and he was very happy.
Oh, very nice indeed, but obviously it wasn't a new guitar.
No, Curtis, no. You should see his room. He's got like a wall of axes. Like there's a wall of guitars.
I like how you called them axes. I like how you got the terms down.
I'm married to a musician. The other day he had his wires going into the room. He had a friend producing a song he was doing, and he was out in our theater doing the vocals. And BB the cat was just grabbing at his feet and tickling his feet and making him laugh, and he kept on ruining the takes.
Well, the cat wants to be part of a song.
We should record his meows and his talking. It's so hilarious. It's like bye for now or going upstairs or whatever it is. It's like you can hear it in his voice when he says things. It's weird. He knows the English language almost.
Almost. Well, the cat and Richard have that in common.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got my closet done this week. I wanted to tell you because I'm so excited. I put some stories up yesterday of it. It's empty. I'm just starting to put stuff in it, and it's probably going to take me another 3 years to even put my stuff back in there because I got so much stuff. I have to go to Sally Ann and the Salvation Army and give some things away, I think.
Okay, well, let me see. What did I pick on the calendar of having you get it done here? Yeah, no, I had, I had 2024, but I had the month right.
Oh, I'm not a procrastinator, really.
No, but it's been a long time coming to get that closet all done.
Oh, it feels so good to just focus on things that you haven't been able to do but that are on your goal list or your dream list, and just focus and do it. It just, it's so energizing. I'm so happy.
Well, I'm glad you got that done finally, because it does feel good to get those kind of things done and checked off your list and things like that. I mean, we still, have only been in the house for, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So we still, almost 8 weeks. We still have some stuff to do. And my office is one of them just because other things always come up. So like the little office workspace, library, whatever you want to call it, that we like to put together, still needs some work.
Yeah, you know what? You give yourself some time, but it sure does feel good. Yeah,
no, we'll get to it eventually.
I believe it. Okay, so our first segment, we're going to talk about how British Columbia's housing demand is shaping up for 2021. It's a very hot market and a hot topic. And this year's trends, what buyers need to know. So I think we should we chat about that? Yeah,
I know. Well, let's get right into it because I know the market just continues to be a hot market. Just because of interest in the industry, I've been watching the listings and things like that, and lots of housing's coming up for listing. I noticed that you have a lot of listings right now.
Yes, I have noticed the shift and the change in the last 3 weeks, I would say. Definitely, and there are more and more hitting the market, and we're going to chat about that as well. So why not? So, okay, soaring, it's been complete. The sales have been very active. It's been very crazy busy. We are seeing a little bit more listings. I'm going to talk about not just in the Fraser Valley this show today. We're going to talk about BC and just a little bit overall, as well as a little Metro Vancouver. But in Metro Vancouver, the combined the sales activity combined with the unprecedented housing demand continue to drive hot pace of their housing transactions. So they've had a lot of transactions. BCREA, which is our British Columbia Real Estate Association, they reported 10,000 home sales in its jurisdiction last month, and that represents 89.1% hike year over year. That's huge. I know Vancouver had a real slowdown, but they've improved. They've moved up. So now British Columbia overall home sales have gone up overall 89.1% year over year to 10,918 units. The average home sales price is just right now up 17.3% year over year. And that, again, is overall British Columbia, about $90,000. And the sales volume is actually up 121.8%, and that's to $9.7 billion. So active listings, though, are down 28.7%. I mean, if you care about the units, that's a little over 20,000. But the fact that it's 28.7% down, that's the big thing there. Vancouver home sales now specifically are up 73.3% year over year, 3,727 units. And benchmark home sales price for Vancouver is 6.8% year over year. That's to $1,084,000. New listings for Vancouver is up 26.1% year over year at a little over 5,000 units. And available listings, again, down 9.1%. Fraser Valley, our neck of the woods, home sales are up. Everything's actually up year over year for the Fraser Valley, but home sales 108% year over year. Single family house prices up 6.8% year over year. Apartment prices up 5.3% year over year, and new listings isn't up 28% year over year, even though that's hard to see. And then Chilliwack. Chilliwack is its own kind of separate area. We consider Chilliwack, Agassiz, Rosedale, that whole area, Harrison Hot Springs. Home sales are up 183.5% year over year, and average home prices up 24.5% year over year. New listings actually up 46%, so the largest uptick in that year over year. Active listings, though, are down 44.3% year over year. So that is some really great specs, and stats. We usually talk just about the Fraser Valley and certain municipalities, but that's kind of a nice overall I wanted to share with everyone because we don't usually do that. And then we've got the 2021 housing market trends, what buyers need to know before we go on a break. Let's talk about that. So this report I actually took from Forbes, and I'm going to share that. Many believe today's market will remain strong for a very long time because of record low inventory, interest rates, and demand. But it will not last forever. Remembering the 2008 Great Recession today is so important because it was a housing-driven crisis, and the effects of 2008 have driven some of the response to the current situation we have now. If the market goes up and people can't access their home equity, it will increase equity value. It could also cause consumers to use credit cards more often at higher rates. So please be disciplined. Please don't go to the credit cards. We spoke about last show, we said if you think you might be retiring soon or you may lose your job or leave a job and you have equity and you don't plan on selling, maybe think about getting that equity line of credit, but it doesn't mean you have to use it. But that's way better if you need it on a rainy day for emergencies or whatnot than if you go to the credit cards. Don't go to those high-interest credit cards unless you pay them off every month. Okay, so rates won't stay the same. It won't stay as low as it has been, and neither will inventory. As we mentioned, Curtis, last few weeks, it seems like there has been more inventory. And so once the market returns back to a little bit normal, it will turn fast. I was just saying this yesterday to a client. When the market shifts, it shifts fast. Literally, it can shift overnight, practically in an afternoon. The housing market will not be on fire like it is today forever. So Canadians who are waiting to sell should not wait. It's better to act when you can, not when you have to. So there's some words of advice for you.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's such an interesting field, and that so many people have been saying for years that the bottom has to fall out. The bottom has to fall out. It can't go on forever. It can't go on forever. Well, they've been saying this since I was in high school.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say how long ago that was, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, we won't share that.
No, I mean, we're talking the 90s here, folks. Like, they were saying, oh, the bottom's got to follow. We can't keep having prices increase like this.
I think they've been saying that since the 1900s, early 1900s, I mean.
It could be. I know that our consumer ed class teacher, his the reasoning for it and what he'd read into was that, well, look, the baby boomers are going to be getting older, so your generation should be able to get more affordable housing because there's going to be so many houses on the market, prices are going to drop. Well, that was not the case.
Yeah. No. And in our specific area, no. It's just there's not that much places to live. There's not that much housing. There's not enough housing. Oh, my goodness. And it's not going to end.
No, it's not changing anytime soon, I don't think. So, even though I passed that class in grade 12, my teacher may or may not have not really known what the heck he was talking about.
Curtis, you passed every class with flying colors.
Well, yes, sometimes it took 2 or 3 or maybe even 6 attempts, but I did pass everything eventually.
Well, if you weren't hanging out in the theater the whole time, being creative...
Well, there is some truth to that. Oh, boy. Well, you and me understand that part together anyway.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, I guess we should probably take a break here. If people want more information about real estate and what you know about and what you can help them with, where can they go?
MicheleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this. Cummins Real Estate Group show with the one and only 1L, Michele Cummins, no G. We always like to throw that out there. And myself, Curtis Pope. All right, so we got through the first segment okay. You told us all about what was going on with some of the housing prices and how that, it's insane how many houses are selling. What do we got for the second segment?
Well, it may surprise most, but the average price of a home in Canada, they're saying it can rise 16% this year in 2021. And you wonder, how can it go up any further? But that's what they're saying. The Canadian Real Estate Association actually saying that. Well,
you made a little joke to me a couple of weeks ago before we got on air, and you said, would you like to make some money on your house? And I went, we just moved in. And yeah, but if you list it, you can probably make this much money, more back. Now, obviously, I'd have to pay that into a new house. You were joking, but it was still amazing how much in just a couple months the market has gone up.
It is true. And as we just talked about the first segment, all those hikes overall year over year are just crazy. Because when you look back, it's sort of usually average 6% a year that we go up here in the Fraser Valley. But this last year has been just skyrocketed since July, but especially the last 4 months. So It's interesting what March is doing. We're already, March 27th, we're almost done with March. And before you know it, we're going to have those stats ready for everyone. I'm so excited.
Oh, gee, it'll be a stats show next week.
Next weekend, next weekend's Easter weekend, right? Long weekend? Good. Love it. Okay, so the average price. So the Canadian Real Estate Association, which we call CREA, is predicting home sales will be so strong they'll reach record highs this year. And I'm not surprised, before starting to cool, though, in 2022. Starting to cool. The association expects 702,000 properties to change hands this year, up from 551,262 recorded in 2020, while sales for 2022 are expected to total 614,000. So think of that. This year they're expecting 702,000. Last year was 551-ish. And then 2022, 614,000. So it's still pretty good in 2022, not bad. But that's the starting of the cooling of the market. And that's what they anticipate and most do. So CREA believes the national average home price will go up 16.5% on an annual basis to just over 665,000 in 2021. Of course, this is Canadian Real Estate Association, so overall Canada. And in 2022, 600 and just under 80,000. Korea's heated predictions show COVID-19 has not spooked buyers who have waded into expensive markets despite layoffs and high unemployment. In the start of 2021, there have been bidding wars and high numbers of offers for suburban homes or properties that need renovations. So that tells you they're not being shy. The new outlook came as Korea reported sales in February totaling a bit over 58,000, which was 6.6% from January and 39.2% higher from February 2020. The actual national average home price in February was a record $678,000. I know in our area that seems a little lower, but think of the whole Canadian area. That's up 25% from the year earlier. The largest year-over-year price gains, which is interesting information, of up 35% came from the Lakelands region of Ontario Cottage Country and Tillsonburg district of Woodstock. But Korea believes supply will slowly return to the market, but it will take some time to cool conditions. That usually tends to happen. You know, it takes about a year and a half for our hike, usually on average, and then it usually takes about a half a year to a year to start cooling. So, yeah, some great information overall from our Canadian Real Estate Association.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good information. And just again, like we keep saying, things just keep going up.
Yeah, they do. And they will this year. So, again, if you're thinking about selling, get in on it right now, this spring. Usually spring is the best time. And talking about spring, I wanted to bring up some helpful information to prepare. Make spring cleaning easy with built-in storage. So I shared this on my social media this week, and I thought I would bring it to all of our listeners in case they don't follow me on social media. How dare you not follow me? So built-in storage kits are the way to go. And I've been learning this lately, and especially in my closet. You don't have to be Bob Villa, though, to install any of the many basic storage systems that there's available at big box storages and home improvement centers across the country. I just built this really cool thing. I opened the box last night, and all this metal and plastic came out and screws and all this stuff. And I go, oh, my gosh, what am I going to do? Definitely look at the instructions. But it was actually really easy to build, and it really is going to help me keep things organized. You know, space savers, organizers. Oh, it helps so much. So other systems are designed to be extra sturdy for more challenging spaces that they have, especially like Canadian Tire has some great options. Garages, utility rooms. I mean, when I go into a home and I see how people keep things organized, I get so jealous. I'm like, how do they do that? They're so good at that. Like everything's organized in either baskets or, it makes life simpler for you, but it also looks way better. But you don't have to actually build it yourself. You can hire somebody to do it, a handyman, or, there's so many people out there that would do it for you if you don't want to do it. But definitely get some storage space built in. So building from scratch, if you want to do that, if you're a little braver or have some experience with home repairs, you may want to take a serious look at spaces like garage ceilings. There's so many times I go into a garage and I look up and they've got this high ceiling, but there's no, mezzanine, there's no storage spaces, there's no car lifts. What are you using that space for? It's space, it's value. Let's use it. So wall voids, rafters, and attic knee walls for room you can reclaim. Ensure there's no electrical wire or plumbing running in the space you have your eye on for extra storage, though, because things move around, and as you take a box out or take this and that out, it moves. So just make sure the space is safe. Skipping this step can lead to some serious repercussions, including but not limited to, you just don't want any electrical issues or pipe ruptures. Trust me, I've had a pipe rupture. But on with that sore spot. With a careful hand, you can actually take those formerly useless stretches of wall or ceilings and add things like built-in bookcases, cabinets, and drawers. I've got a space now, once I get all my clothes out of it, that I'm going to create a library in. It's got high ceilings, a vaulted ceiling, and I'm going to actually use that upper space for more shelving for all my books. Oh, love it. I can't wait to do that. That's my next thing, my next to do. So remember that your built-in can only be as deep as the void minus the thickness of the back material. So choose your spaces accordingly. Attic knee walls are especially fun options since there's usually deep voids behind them that you can transform into your storage fantasies. There was this amazing property on Mount Woodside, very unique, architecturally designed, one of a kind. It was amazing. What you didn't realize is the way the ceilings are and the rafters and this and that. As there's so much space in there, they created 2 whole rooms and a whole storage room out of this space. I've seen it a couple times. And then when you see attic spaces that aren't just complete with some drywall and safety lights and stuff, you know, there's all the space you can use. So keep an eye on what you may have in your home that you're not currently using, because that's a missed opportunity in my eyes. Some special options for kitchens. We always love meeting in the kitchen, having friends over when we can, and everyone visits in the kitchen. It's a great space. But kitchens are notorious for lacking storage or working space. They also offer a lot of small spaces that most people tend to overlook. For example, if you have a lot of mugs or teacups, the simple act of installing mug hooks under your upper cabinets, that looks so good. I've got it in one of my places, and I love the look of it. Just match your mugs, your teacups, and hang them up there. It can permanently free up shelf space. The inside of your cabinets can host shallow storage racks rather than just the big, deep ones, which are great for holding cleaning supplies, spices, and other small items. Another option might be adding a rail to your backsplash, enabling you to hang up items that tend to end up scattered in the kitchen. And think of those knife magnets, right? And all the sorts of things that you can actually spice up the look, no pun intended with the spices, your kitchen, and put some really neat aspects to it. And you're creating character while giving yourself more storage space. So, yeah, what's one of your tips that you have? You're a cook. You're a chef.
Well, I'm not a chef, but I am the cook in the house. Yeah, I mean, we got a nice spice rack, and it was one of those things that I'm like, I needed it. I'm like, we need a spice rack in this new kitchen because I want one. I got the space for it. It looks good. Let's get one. So we got a nice one, and yeah, it's great having it there and nice and handy while I'm cooking, and it definitely speeds up the process.
I love Pinterest for special ideas for that. But yeah, okay, what kind of spice rack did you get? There's so many different kinds. We got it's like a circular one that holds like, I think 24 spices or something like that, or 20 spices. Okay, how many of the spices do you actually use?
Like 3.
Yeah.
Everything else is up in the cabinet that I use, but the spice rack and everything it's got in, I use like 3 of them.
Yeah, the 3 most important ones.
Yeah, that's just the way I roll. But it looks good.
Exactly. And they're there in case you need it for that day.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got one new listing coming up, and it's amazing. And because it's spring, it's an amazing time to share it. It is on the lake. It's on, think of lakefront. There is not very many lakefront, and especially a private lake and a quiet lake and a good-sized lake. Views, oh my goodness. Okay, if you want a place on a lake, this place is it. It's on Silver Glen Drive in Mission. It's more of a West Mission, okay? So it's a 2-story with basement home. It's an older home. It's got great bones. It's ready for your ideas. It's not one of those where it's like, oh shoot, they already renovated it and it's not the color I like, or it's not the type I like. No, this is like a blank canvas, but everything's there. The design, the style, the layout, it's really cool. It's really nice. It's got a great size garage, and it's got such a good size land. It's over 23,000 square foot, and the land is, and the views are outstanding. So that one's coming on the market, probably hitting it Tuesday. So keep an eye out for it. Reach out to me if you're interested. If you're really interested, because this is one of a kind, I tell you. So it's gorgeous. It's 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. The house is 1,000 square feet. So it's got plenty of room for you to either renovate part or all of it. It's a great, quiet place to call your next home.
And right on a lake, a private lake, too.
It is. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, so the quote of the week is from Martin Luther King Jr. So the quote is, "You don't need to see the whole staircase, just take the first step."
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Well, you know how much you can, you can't see the trees through the forest. There's different ways of looking at it. But yeah, you either want to see the whole picture before you do it, or you're trying to see through and you're missing everything. So yeah, don't worry, just believe and do it. Take the first step. You've got to take that first step to get to the second and third. You just got to do it. You don't need to see the whole thing. I mean, think of the mountain you climb. You don't see the top of the mountain before you get there. You don't know exactly everything that's going to be involved from here to there. You can make your best guess, but you just got to go. You got to do it. It's the steps, it's the action steps that make anything good happen in life. So there's my quote of the week.
Perfect. All righty. Well, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor, where can they go?
MicheleCummins.ca.
And make sure to tune in again next week when once again we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.